They're in purple, which
not
is my
anymore,
community
no.
color for 2/3.
Get Melissa.
I answered your email, but I
Melissa to
just
say
answered
who it is.
that. You just said I did
You
say
talk to
it's
the
a
people who
community.
are.
I gotta do it again?
Yes,
Yes.
it's at 2:30.
No,
I just
Yeah, I knew you did it right because I listened.
I go
That I
to,
knew.
they go
All right.
Yes,
to
we
Newt
do.
now.
Thank you.
I don't really,
Okay.
I mean, Karen Crew, you know Karen Crew.
Okay, we're all set. Melissa will do the pledge.
She's in charge of it. I know
Yeah.
her and I have
She
her
did it
phone
right.
number.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I can talk to her, I have her number and everything.
Public comments?
Donations for that.
Larry? Larry?
Okay.
Identify yourself, Larry, so we know who you are. Identify yourself.
Larry Brown. I'll make this more formal. We were at the budget committee meeting last night, and there has been considerable press for the governor announcing new school aid and new municipal aid, and has gone from community to community, showing the wonderful things that the governor has done. The record is somewhat different. The original figure for aid to education was 160 million back in April, not 150. And the original figure for municipal aid was 60 million, not 38 million. That budget was vetoed by the governor, and our two state representatives voted with the governor, and parenthetically also against venture. The money that came was not the money that was originally proposed by the legislature, but it's still nice money.
Thank you. Anybody else?
You want me to, since there's nobody in the audience, do you want me to bring up the buses?
No, not
No,
yet.
okay.
Not yet.
Thank
Put
you.
it on the school business, please.
I have a couple things I'd like to say about some teachers. Is that appropriate to say now?
Good things?
Stuff. It's good stuff.
Can we wait for school business?
Yeah.
So we can get through all this other, so I don't lose track?
Yes, sir.
Won't you? Now, do you have anybody
governance.
that, you know, if somebody
Yes, for
says
governance.
positive, I have to get somebody negative, I have to give them the same, okay. Moving on, the minutes, public minutes for October 9th, 2019.
I will make a motion to approve the 10-9 public session minutes with changes that have already gone to Tammy, minor changes.
Second?
Anybody else? Paul?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Moving on to Wednesday, October 9th, 2019, non-public.
I will make a motion to approve the non-public session meeting minutes of the 9th with no corrections.
Second.
Peg?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. All right,
Superintendent's?
moving on, superintendent's report?
Okay, here we go. Last couple of months, I've been saying that the committee will be working hard on Portrait of a Grad. Here's the first 6 pages of what we will work on December 10th when we meet. And we have an excellent committee made up of parents, community, students, school board, administration, staff, instructors, and also support staff. Here is the
I can get mine.
yeah,
I can share.
yeah, here you go.
I can have to share.
I don't mind.
You can do the third.
I give one to Larry. So as you can see there, as you look at it, this is the design team, and the role of it spells it out, just as we talked about before. And as you open it up, this is the timeline on the 3 times going to meet. It's an interesting configuration. because in that people's times are such, it's like two films. We're going to have a film during the day and a film at night. So there'll be two shows, and all the input can be gotten from all of the folks, as we used to call them for years, the stakeholders. But everybody has a voice, everyone has a say, and this is the result. One wonders what the result is, and you can look at it as a frame of a picture or the pieces going into one. It'll appear on the district and school websites. It'll reflect the goals. It'll reflect the core values. And students can use this as I've done in the past with other schools. They could put in their forms when they go on to college. And it would be used as far as funds are concerned, grants are concerned. It also becomes part of what we do when we plan for the school funds, for the school budget. In the agenda, this is basically what it'll look like on December 10th. And then this is, as it stands now, the group, although we might add, or some people might be able to come, but this is the group as we now have it. And there you see the timeline. So we're very happy that we can do this, and we'll keep the board updated on how things go.
So,
Go ahead.
so basically what this is, I just want to make sure I have it right. This is using the faculty, the staff, community, and everything to determine what we think graduates should know now and what we want the students to know, how we want to alter what they learn by the time they graduate. Is that basically what it is?
And also, as a staff, what are our core values?
Core
What do we
values for
stand
graduating.
So,
Okay.
so it's all of that into one.
Okay. Just want to make sure people, viewers at home, know what this is. So.
Okay, would you like to add a little bit? Because I've been part of the steering committee
Sure.
that has worked with me on trying to get this together.
Yeah, well, it's just sort of a unifying thing for our district to say what are our common shared values, so that it can aid us in decision making. Is this a good program for us? Is this our teachers doing this from the classroom? Our administrators and the board, are we all supporting that vision? So values, but also a picture of what a graduate of Newt would look like. So they would, because from these core values, okay, what does that specifically look like?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I have a question. Now, these are three separate teams,
No,
or they're all in one massive team?
one massive team, but there's two films. You can either make the show during the day, or you can make the show at night, and all of it goes into one pot.
We want to make sure it's accessible to people who can only come here during the day and people who can only come in the evening. So we'll be doing the same thing evening and day. Does that
You
make
know,
sense?
it's a lot of extra, if you might call it work or whatever, but it's well worth it, because what you're trying to do is ensure that everybody has a voice and a say, and you have input, and you're part of what is being done, and you can't always get everybody at the same time.
I'm wondering, students, I mean, obviously I do not recognize all the names on here. Students who have graduated, are they part of the committee?
We don't have them as yet, but
Okay,
there's
because
always
I know
more.
quite a few people who have graduated and are quite successful, and
That's a great idea. That's a great
and
idea.
on, Paul, you'll love this, the Facebook today.
This.
He calls it the Facebook.
The Facebook.
Some girl posted a picture of a T-shirt, born, brought up and stuff in Milton and proud of it. And her little blurb was, I'm very proud of being
Yeah.
a Milton resident, longtime resident. So
Yeah, that's good. In the past lives, and I'm sure you did this in Rochester, you had students come back, brought students back that had gone on to college in the workforce, and talked to the current students that are in school. And what better way, the end is the beginning, or the answer is in the result, and this is assuredly the result.
all right.
So bring them on.
Okay.
Bring them on, bring them down.
We have two seniors, or two students who are
Conflict.
seniors on the committee right now.
And we might have a couple more.
What?
But this way, it's not restrictive, we move the fences out, that way you get the same students involved with everything. And if they're involved with sports or whatever, this allows them to come and if parents work or whatever, so we get everybody.
Okay, good.
Did you say when the date was?
They're all there.
Well, I know
Last
it's on
page.
here, but I meant for them.
December 10th, January 20th, February 4th.
Thank you.
He found a typo?
Yeah. Mrs. Culverhouse's name is spelled wrong.
So we're gonna get all these people in the community room? What's the capacity of the room?
It'll be like a town car, it'll be fine.
Cafeteria?
Two sessions in the end.
Yeah, they're all not gonna be there.
Okay, all right. I'm not concerned. Safety.
What's that?
Moving on. Earl, you still on?
Okay, what we'll do, this will be kind of a team, Peg Hurt and Shoot and Doug Shoot have worked endlessly on this, and this, about 3 board meetings ago or so, I indicated that we were gonna get more aid, or it looked like we were gonna get more aid, and we have gone through all of the hoops, and we have come down to what students need and what we need as far as to keep students safe and healthy, and also staff as well. So what I'm going to do now is have Doug Shoot, who has done endless amount of hours and gone around. We've gone to the town groups, and you and Peg can speak a little bit more about this. Doug's got some great sheets here.
Well, Peg, we made this for the budget committee and the planning board and gave it to them.
I still have mine done.
Yeah,
so.
and this, I'll give Paul, I guess the secretary. I'm not sure, Earl's got one, I'm pretty sure.
I've got one.
So, I was going to talk about it later, but Earl's jumped the gun here. We got $163,000 coming to us, and Peg worked on this booklet also, so
163,000 or 361,000?
361,000.
Okay. And $3.
And I made sure that was
Don't
correct.
forget the 3. Yep.
Yeah, people had 4. So we went to the budget committee and the planning board, especially the budget committee last night, and I thought they were extremely receptive. They listened, okay? And then Earl and I went down and saw the planning board after they were dealing with the CIP, and I felt they were receptive also. So all the information that we gave them and what's a concern to us is right there, and that's, Peg, do you have anything?
No, I want people to totally understand what the situation is. The towns got unanticipated funds, so they just have to have a public hearing saying, this is what we got, we're letting you know, we're accepting it, blah, blah, blah. We got anticipated funds, even though we were not anticipating them. So we have to have a hearing to say that we're going to have a hearing, and then we actually have to have a public hearing with townspeople to come, and we present it, and then they have to actually vote saying, yes, we can accept it and spend it, and we need to spend it.
Tell them to go to page 10 in their folder.
Go to page 10. Yes, go to page 10. Where's page 10? Mine's upside down. 5B, 6A, 7.
I'll let Peg finish speaking.
Yeah, I don't have a page 10.
Yeah.
Page 10.
You should
Last
have-
page is 7.
I have 67.
7's it.
No, you get the wrong packet.
The packet you handed out.
No, your packet.
Oh, our packet.
Your, our
Oh, and
That's what you mean.
Goodness gracious, Doug.
They didn't see that one.
Oh,
Okay,
how funny.
that is in this packet also.
Got it.
Sorry.
That is on page 2.
On page
Um,
2, yes.
Yes. In the packet that Doug just handed out is page 2.
Pages mixed up.
And,
Get annoyed.
I know.
So confused.
So we've already had our meeting with the budget committee, and then we have to notify the Department of Revenue that we're gonna plan on holding a meeting. This is all from our attorney. The deadline for posting the public hearing in 2 places and the school's website is 10/25. 11/1 would be the deadline for the public hearing concerning the special meeting. 11/8 is the deadline for posting and publishing the notice of the meeting and the warrant, basically saying this is the money we received. Yeah, we want to spend it, thank you very much. Publish it in the newspaper, and then on 11/15, we will be having the special meeting. Traditional meeting format, people have asked that it be at 6 o'clock at night. Doug told me last night that I would provide pizza, so I guess I'll provide pizza for people who come, I don't know. And then we have to forward to the DRA the minutes and the results of the vote. We are definitely in hopes that people come and that they vote yes, because we have a couple of real big issues, the fire alarm system and the air handler that went on to the CIP. Do you want to talk about that? Or
No, I want to,
Okay.
what I want to do is bring it to the board and ask the board to vote. I'm going to make a motion that we, as a school board, go and call for this special town meeting and ask for the $61,003. And I'll make that as a motion and proceed with this. We'll need to notify the DRA tomorrow immediately. And I need a vote from the people. Then Peg can talk all she wants about the air handler and the fire alarm. Peg seconded it.
Yep.
So we need your permission as a school board to go on with this. Anybody have any questions? And the town is getting $74,000,
I think, yeah.
and they were trying to give it to us, but it's not our money.
I know.
So we have to refuse it for our
It was very
attorney.
funny.
It's different.
Here, it says school aid, because theirs is also based on the number of free and reduced lunch students we have. And it says it right in the documentation that they got. And so he's really,
He
and
met
we're
with
like,
us, he was
we're
all ready
taking
to
it.
give us a check.
Yeah, we'll take it, we don't have no problem, but
We
anyway.
could have walked out with the check right there.
I know.
No, the other thing what this is going to do, it's going to delay the setting the tax rate a little bit. So that's why we need to get on it as soon as possible. And this was the timeline from Gordon. And we're not the only community in the state that's doing this. I wish we were Claremont, New Hampshire, and I don't want to get this wrong, but I'd heard they got $6.2 million
Extra.
extra, so.
It's adequacy aid based on what an adequate education for every student in every different town would cost. And I mean, I don't know how many of you remember, I don't even know how many years ago, with the big issue with Claremont. And other towns got more money, wealthy towns got money taken away, but it was all based on Claremont. So we're not exactly a rich town.
Now, next year, we're supposed to get a lot more than that figure, we've been told. I don't know what it is, and they haven't set that figure yet. So, just be aware of that. So I have
A motion and a second?
Paul?
Aye.
Aye.
Absolutely aye.
Hi.
Aye.
So, okay, we go forward. We send the notice to the DRA. We are on our way.
Yeah, one of the things with the moving out the setting of the tax rate, normally it's done on the 1st of November, and people get their tax bills beginning of December. And I really went back and looked a couple of years. And I honestly cannot remember ever getting my tax bill on December 1st. I mean, I know one year I didn't have to pay until January. So it's not as if we are really creating an absolutely horrible problem in town, because it's been done before, so.
Okay, now, well, we were discussing this. Bob brought us material about the air handler, and I apologize. We didn't get it in time, but he just made it, and I'll give you copies.
Is this
Peop-
updated from what we got yesterday?
You didn't get this. You have, this is all brand new. This is the engine,
NVDA plan?
With the air handler.
Yeah, I know, and you had some stuff yesterday.
but mine didn't have this in it because Bob just made it. No, I got some extra copies here. You wanna take it, Bob, you wanna take it back to the,
We'll just give them a copy of that.
okay. Lynette, did you want one?
Please, if you don't mind. Thanks, guys.
Okay, I got 2 extra here. I'm more than happy to pass them out. John? This pertains to you, John.
Yeah,
You
I
need
know,
one.
it's yours.
Well, I
It's your
know I get a
building.
copy.
Do you want to breathe?
If
Okay.
you want to breathe, you can.
Okay, we have, Peg, you wanna go on or you want me to?
Well, phase 1, have we already had, I guess this is a question that you and I talked about. Bob, has the design already been done for the air handler?
The design is not done, it was a recommendation that we have on how to proceed. I gave you the backup data, which is the packet that you have tonight.
Okay, well, I have a feed down at the bottom of page 1,
Correct.
but it also says it's under phase 2,
This is the fee for phase 2.
which
Did
would
phase
be,
1 was the analysis, to review the building. both the
Okay.
First and second floor, as you go into the building. It has nothing to do with the 1914 building, the front building.
okay, but what's the 29,850? Is that for the design?
It is the number that you've already seen,
Right,
plus on page 2, the
It's
$300
yep.
reimbursement. That's what's in the CIP, the capital improvement plan. So is that 3150?
That should add it to that figure.
Yeah.
right. But again, is that for the design?
For the design,
Thank
as you
you.
move forward for the design.
Thank
So
you.
if you look in the middle of page 1, it says phase 2
Right.
contract documents.
Yep.
So basically, it's doing the design, creating the biddable documents, and reviewing the, current costs, the what to expect. Help us with invitation to the bidders, the actual bid form, pre-bid visit with contractors, responding to the contractors for any requests for additional information that they might have, addendums to the bid package that everyone who did the bid walk would get, review bids and provide recommendations into the school board, and review shop drawings, 2 site visits, and at the closeout of the project, they would help create the punch list for the contractor to finish. So we'll award the bid.
Okay, I think we as a board, what we need to do is switch gears, and I think we ought to make the air handler priority 1. Okay? Now it's $361 we can get back. I think we need to proceed as soon as possible to get this engineering study done, and very possibly, and if we get this money, we can go ahead with this project, and also we'll be able to do the engineering study for both fire alarms. That would also be covered, possibly. I don't know if we would be able to do one building for the fire alarm, but we can definitely do the air handler. And the thing is, we need to be very clear, either one of these systems go down, you're not gonna be able to occupy the building. And I think, actually, I think this money is a gift given to us at the perfect opportunity to take care of this problem. And by doing it, we'll see, I don't even think we'll see an increase, I should say that, or a minimal increase in the tax increase for the school. But, I don't know how the rest of the board feels. But I would like to make the motion that we make the air handler the number 1 priority.
I will second that.
So do I have any more discussion? Anybody? Anybody have any question on this proposal?
Yeah, I do.
Well, let me get to vote, then you can let you talk away all you want.
Can I ask questions after we vote?
Yeah, Peg,
Yes.
Emily,
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Aye. So, okay, go ahead, Peg.
Okay, on page, looks like 12, yes.
12.
Is that the grand total of both floors, the 183, 425?
It is a current estimate, correct.
Okay, when you say current, I mean tomorrow it'll be more? Or we'll get a
This,
discount
we
tomorrow?
have no idea what the bid results will be. This is the engineering company, Herman,
Okay,
saying based on what they know today, the current conditions in the marketplace, they would expect the bids to come in somewhere near that.
okay, all right.
And so it could be higher or lower than that.
Now, Bob,
Yeah.
no, you're gonna need a vote for us to go with Harriman?
I do need that because what I want to talk about to help you through this is timeline. In order, if we were to be able, if we had the funds to be able to do it next summer, which would be the window of opportunity that we would need, and we back up the timeline, then assuming the voters vote for the monies on November 15th, you know, to come into the school department, then by the end of November, I recommend that we would be under contract with Harriman so we could proceed. Because we have the holiday schedule in front of us. Just so you know, it probably would take, throwing in the holidays, about 5 to 6 weeks in order to get the bid package together. It would take another 3 weeks to do the bid walk and get the bid results. And then depending on our timing of when our meetings are for us to digest what we got back, okay, it really pushes the timeline out. The equipment timeline is going to be somewhere in the range of plus or minus about 12 weeks. So from when we got, sorry.
Let me add something. I tried to get Dan Bisson here today for us, because Bob and I talked about it. He could not, because I think he had to be in Nashua or Salem on another project. And he told me, and Bob's correct on his figures, anywhere from 12 to 16 weeks to fabricate, because my false teeth again, all these parts that need to be installed.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they-
so that's the next step. So you have the first increment, which is actually getting the design done, as I said, to get the bid documents. That will be 5 to 6 weeks because of the holiday schedule. Followed by at least another 3 weeks to get the bid walk in and get the contractors to come back with a bid. Then, as Mr. Shute said, once we award the contract, so we're gonna lose some time depending on when we meet. Once we award the contract, then it's a 12 to 16 week timeline for that for parts to be fabricated. So if you do all of that, we're gonna be smashing right into like early May already at that point in time. So it's like, there's really no real slush time in there, you know, at the end of school coming along.
So it can't, nothing can be physically done within the building while the kids are there. It has to be done over the summer?
It's entirely possible that we could do one entity because, you know what, where we're placing the unit ends up being underneath the first floor in a place now that we refer to the summer where we have some of the storage location. And in order, the eight-hander would be placed in that location. In order to do that, we need a 6-foot wide opening, and there's only a 3-foot door now, and it's only a 3/4 high, just for you with the details. So we need to be able to put in a 6-foot door there and put in a lintel to carry the load above it, 2 floors, okay, and it's, you know, it may or may not be something that could be knocked off, say, for vacation, but outside of that, all we can do is prep in the background, which is getting all the fabrication done. And then from our own perspective too, then we have to understand how does that impact the whole summer schedule that normally gets done. So we're talking about summer school, and we're talking about how do we clean the building following the contract down. Because we're gonna, you know, the only part of the building we can clean would be the 1914 building. The other 2 floors will be occupied by the contractor.
No.
Kindergarten, excuse me.
No, I took Nate aside and I asked him, if we had the money, if you could speed this process up, if we had the money in the budget now, could we do the engineering study? And Nate told me no, okay? We got a default budget and everybody seemed to think The school's got all kinds of money, and the school doesn't have all kinds of money in their default budget, or even its operating budget, to take on something with this magnitude in order to achieve this and get a good. So we've got to get that meeting passed. We got to get the people out there to vote yes, and we got to go forward with it. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. In your packet, though, I believe you had the information before, but on page 5,
Yeah.
the engineer at Harriman, had told us that basically, if we lose the capability to run the A-handle, we're in violation of ventilation codes. And right now, we're already really on the edge because we use the air handle in out because it's so gosh darn noisy to flush the air in the building in the morning right now. And then we shut it down. And basically where we passed on to the teachers, at times too, if you need some fresh air, go ahead and open your windows. We have to do that already in other parts of the school that don't have any air handle and any ventilation.
So you need a motion from me to make a motion to hire the Harriman report to do the engineering design, is that it?
Once funds are secured.
Once the funds are, so that would be my motion.
Second that.
Okay. So I want no confusion. The Harriman Engineering Company has been hired, will be hired, if we get the money.
Yes,
But we don't have the money presently anywhere in our budget.
correct.
Because if we did, I would ask the board to do it. Okay?
I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Go ahead, no, you speak up, go ahead.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I want to just be really, really clear.
Go ahead.
I think we all here know this, but just so everybody knows, this is money. This is not coming out of anyone's pocket. The money that we're talking about voting on is not coming out of anybody's pockets. We're not. This is money that the state has given to the school to use, which we could always use anyways. But it's just in time because we actually have huge issues that would make our buildings not able to be occupied. So when we talk about hearings and voting, this money is already been given to us, and we absolutely need it to do things to make our buildings functional. Is that, if I'm incorrect in anything I'm saying, please, I just want to be really, really clear.
Right, you're 100% correct, and I think Peg reiterated the way that it was expressed with the town
Yes.
and so forth, and the late date that it came. The bad news is it came late. The good news is that, like Doug was saying, it was really a gift because we all know the conditions, with MES, the fire alarm that went off.
Okay, so I have
at 1 o'clock, and you know what the heat is like in those rooms, so it speaks for itself. If anybody was in doubt, like they said last night, then appear at MES at 1, you'll hear the fire alarm go off, and you'll see how hot it is in the room. So this is what it is.
Yeah. These are not cosmetic issues. They are not, boy, I wish list issues.
I do have a motion and a second. Peg?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. Thank you, everybody. So I guess you can, well, we gotta get the money first.
money.
November 15th.
Okay.
I'm sorry? Do you have any questions,
Bob's
John?
there fronted. All right.
All right.
All right.
Thank you,
We all
Bob.
set on that? Do you have, because you're still up, Earl, because it's your,
Everything else?
you got anything else?
Great,
Done.
having a great time.
So we kind of jumped on a few things, but ahead of them, but that's okay. All right, so you all done? John, you're up, please. Page 7,
Page 7.
on our
Lucky
packet.
7. So just a few things from September and probably October. Power school training, I just did power school training. It was very intense. It was 3 hours a day sitting in front of a computer, and I was like the only one for a while, me and the trainer. And so you had to pay attention. I just walked away. Because they'd ask me questions and I did. But so then 2 other people joined, so it was very very informative. Could I do everything they taught me right this minute? No, but I know that there's a lot of capabilities in Power School, and I learned about special functions and how to create reports and how to possibly use it for discipline, but I have a lot of information, and it's still a big learning process, but there's a lot in Power School, especially the new one. The 19.9, it was just updated in the spring. So there's an enterprise reporting tool, which was on the last day, which really expand the amount of reports we can create with Power School. So that was interesting. And then in January, we're having an online training for the staff during our early release day for Power School Pro on how to use the curriculum. And then NWA, we did our NWA testing. We completed that, and then we're going to be doing. I'll bring the report in the fall. Yes.
Can we back up a half?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, you did, I see, Infinite Campus. Did you
Yeah.
at all? How does
Yeah, I was
were you-
part of the committee to help bring it in, and we were starting the transition.
Okay,
So I
you
didn't
never
use it
really-
as
okay.
much as
I
um,
did?
right as you did. Yeah, because
Okay,
it
thank
was. I think it was. I left before it was fully implemented. We just started implementing it, and I used some other programs. You know what? I think they're both good. I mean, I used Infinite Campus there. I also used Web to School in another school, then Power School, and there was another one. There was some, I don't remember what it was, but they're all good. I think that they're all trying to meet each other, and like what one person does, what group does, another one will, the technology
that
comes,
to it, yeah.
keeps
Okay.
coming up.
All right.
So I think that we have talked about this as an admin team. A part of it is, transitioning, what the cost of transition is, and so forth. So we kind of split up, kind of the way we're looking at it, because we are having issues with Power School. So Jen was looking at Infinite Campus and what that would be about bringing that in the district, and I'm looking at Power School saying, if we can't bring Infinite Campus, or if we don't want to go to, how can we fix Power School and things we're having? And part of it I'm seeing, like, is the custom screens and some of the things, what I was doing, the reports, and they gave me a mock setup, and then I had also, I could use our Power School. We had things in different fields, so the reports weren't running the same way. So we have a lot of custom screens. Even Josh from Back Bay has said that. So there's a way we could clean it up. And like I said, there's a new Power School out.
Okay.
And there's a thing called Schoolology, which is connected to it too. I haven't really gone into that. But there's all these type of things that are connected to it. So
All right, thank you. Just curious.
I just want to, Bob, do we need Bob to stay any longer? He's more than welcome, Bob.
okay.
You all set with Bob, everybody?
Yes.
Air handler, go get him, Bob.
Thanks for coming in, Bob.
Yeah, Mr. Air Handler, I
The
love
air
it.
handler.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye, Bob, thank
Were
you.
you all, I'm sorry, you would,
So NWA, any questions on the NWA? I'll bring in a data report. I couldn't get the district reports because I didn't shut the window on time to actually print reports out. So now the window's shut, I'll bring it the next time. So then on a professional day on October 11th, we didn't have that many teachers there because they went to the NEA conference. So with the staff remaining, we worked with Betty Erickson, who was a consultant that came in last year. They got to meet her, and she was finishing up, and they worked on what we call a loose and tight list for the My Math program. Many of these programs and these tools that come with so much, it can be so overwhelming.
I always say every curriculum is written like it's the only subject that you teach.
Exactly. It's like 6 hours, and
Right.
some of them, there's so many different integrated components you could, but so what we did was, rather than having the teachers get overwhelmed with it, we said, okay, let's look through and say, this is the most important parts of the program. This is what every teacher needs to do. And then this is what every teacher could do. So we had, this is the must-do dailies. And then these are optional parts of the program. There are other optional parts of the program that they emphasize, but like I said, there are other parts of it. And because it depends on your class too. You can get through assessment tests sometimes quicker, so maybe you could do some of the other enrichment pieces that go with it and so forth. So that was really good. Yes.
Go, Peg. The
Yes, Peg.
teacher in me is coming out.
Yeah.
The learning stations. I mean, in my
Yes.
estimation, those are really key to kids learning and bouncing things off people. I know, and I saw that under the optional.
They're optional because they're going to be part of the formalized RTI. So they are going to be, the learning stations itself is just a bag. It has the books, it has a couple of books in it, some games and so forth. We are going to use them, but since they're going to be part of RTI, we're not going to say that teachers, the classroom teacher has to do them. They'll be part of the RTI. So if a student is struggling, and then we'll be doing the learning stations and that. And that's our March workshop, is to start formalizing our time.
Okay.
I just want to say two things. A lot of teachers are doing stations. I just, it may be listed as optional, but yeah, I've cut out a lot of managed stations for various teachers. So I just want to throw in there that I don't have a ton of experience in it. I helped last year with the old math program. I'm helping teachers this year. I like this much better.
Right. Yeah, well, they picked it. I mean, they have a lot of ownership in it. They really understand it, and the kids seem to be okay with it. No complaint, which is always good. And it's really good. One thing we're discovering more about it, which was really interesting, is starting in third grade. Each grade level, they have assessment books that come with it. From third grade to fifth grade, they have the 20th century skills tests assessment book. So it's more set up like a smarter balance test or the state testing. So in the K to 2, you have the test, and maybe it has a picture of a duck, so your test will have a picture of a duck. So it kind of matches your unit. The assessments in third to fifth, and they have both, but if you use the 20th century ones, they're more geared toward the test, the standards-based, like smarter balance tests. So the skills that they learn, which is what happens when you take these tests, you've learned skills, but then also you take a test you've never seen before, and you have to apply them there. So this is what it does with that type of test. So it gives you a state-type testing to do the assessment for those good.
Should it be 20th century or
21st century. I don't know.
Thank you. I'm going, what
Sixth
year
grade.
is this?
Taking it old school.
21st, where are we?
19th century, 18th
Well,
century,
you
right?
brought up, it was back to the 90s with Fairmont, that's what it was. You brought me back to the 90s, sorry. 21st century.
So you all done, John?
All done, and then Peg and I ate pie all day.
No, I hope they were low
That
cal.
was fun. 22.
It says you ate 22 pies.
22.
Where did you hide it, Peg?
Do you want me to get up?
Okay.
Family show.
Jan?
Little tiny pieces, and most of them are just little bites. So.
I'm come asking you about junior prom. Last year we did it on a Friday, and the juniors were able to be dismissed early, so they've been looking at dates and locations. There's not a lot of Saturdays available, but the Red Barn at Outlet Farm is available Friday, May 8th, so they would like to use that as their location, and again, this year get dismissed at 11:45, so they can be back at 4:30 for the Grand March at school.
Where is that?
It's South Berwick.
It's beautiful.
What's it called?
It's very beautiful.
Beautiful.
The Red Barn at Outlook Farm.
Oh, that's
Oh, Outlook, okay.
on Route 9, 4?
Yep,
Yeah.
they take care of
Beautiful.
everything. So-
Do you want a motion from us?
Yes, if it's okay for
Somebody
us
want to get the name on the note?
I'll make a
It's
motion.
11:45
Emily?
that day.
I'll second.
Paul? That's, we're going to allow them to leave early on May 8th. That was a Saturday, you said?
It's a Friday.
Friday, I'm sorry. I'm writing it down. All right.
Leave early.
Any more questions for Jan on that issue? Peg?
Yeah, aye.
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 Go ahead.
And I just want to let you know, we have several committees this year, one of which is what we call a PEP squad, and they are organizing our assemblies. So we have a PEP rally this Friday at 1:45 if you'd like to join us to celebrate the fall sports. The high school and middle school soccer teams are over, JV volleyball is over, and it is the high school volleyball's last game Friday night against Farmington. So if you'd like to join us, that's 1:45, and then the Veterans Day Assembly will be Thursday, November 7th at 9. They should be sending you guys invites, but just if you want to get that on your calendars.
Thank you, Jan.
Now, is that game here or in Farmington?
It's here.
Here,
So
Milton.
it's the last, it's the senior night, it's our
Okay, all
last
right, all right.
home game.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
And if they win, I think they're in the playoffs.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Good.
Any questions for her other than that? Okay. That's okay. Going down school business, I'll let Peg go first, ahead of everything, then I'll let Emily go. Because I made them wait.
Board packet deadline.
No, you had an issue you wanted to bring up.
Oh, the buses, okay, I'm going, that has Doug's
How
name
could
after
she?
it.
No.
Confused
I wasn't
me.
assigned.
All right, on Facebook, the Facebook today, a parent posted that, I guess he was walking his daughter across the street to get on the bus, the bus was stopped, the stop sign was out, and kept on going, almost hit the father and the child. And I got an email from, well, actually, another post on Facebook was the agenda for tonight, and people come and be in the public, comment, and talk about kid safety, bus safety. So I emailed the person who posted it and said, is this in regards to that other posting? Yes, it is. And I said, well, if nobody comes, I will be more than happy to bring it up. Remind people out there, there is a law. When the bus is stopped and that red sign comes out, you are to stop too. I know Doug and I talked a little bit about it, and I don't know what the fine is, but I'm sure it's pretty hefty. People are going to start taking pictures of people who pass cars.
There were some pretty scary statistics about how many kids have actually been hit in the last year.
Oh yeah,
It was like, yeah, I want to say it was
not
20
here,
something. Not here, no.
but all over.
Nationwide,
And I mean, I've been at the Rochester Middle School, parked, waiting to leave. The buses are in, their stop signs are out, the kids are getting on the buses, and parents just, oh, I gotta go home. And they just go right by 10 buses with their stop signs out.
Are there any policemen at that time?
The problem is, this was out on 125 today.
No, I meant in Rochester.
Oh, not in the, no, not in the,
They ought to have one.
because it's right in the school, it's right in front of the school,
Yeah, go
so.
ahead.
But I know in Milton, I mean, the police will, every once in a while, be looking, but they can't be everywhere at the same time, and there are an awful lot of stops in this town.
No, I did call Tim
Yep.
just a little while ago. It was brought up, no, nobody in this area that does it, but they brought it up in, I think, Wolfboro. And it was $20,000 to do 50 buses. That was, he said, there was 2 cameras, and it's about $400 per bus. So that would be, that's a rough estimate, okay? But they didn't do it.
Yeah,
'Cause of the
there's so much
cost.
money for 50 buses,
We don't have 50, we probably have a good,
13.
yeah, a good 13, so multiply that times.
400.
If you give me the money, I'm more than happy to do it, people. We don't have all kinds of money laying around.
About
5,200.
6,000.
Yeah,
much?
5,200.
5,200, thanks, Paul.
Keep
My
our,
math. It's because of my math.
6,000.
Yep.
keep
my
our
math.
eyes
My
open.
math.
Okay,
Maybe some funding will come through.
yeah,
Grant,
5,200.
maybe some type of grant might come through for that.
Yeah.
Well, let me just bring up another point. Getting that extra money, we might be able to do it that way. Just a suggestion. Okay. Now, you all set, Peg?
Yes, did everybody hear that? Stop. Thank you.
Stop. Know the times. Go slower in a rural community. You come around corners, mornings and afternoons, there's going to be buses.
Okay. Now, Emily, it's your turn.
Okay.
Please.
Just bear with me for a couple minutes. I know previously I mentioned that my daughter was going through something really hard, and I wanted to commend all the team of people that worked with her. And I just want to say it again. Mrs. Doan and Mrs. Boyage and Mrs. Brown, and also Miss Heichel, and especially Mrs. Welch has been unbelievably patient and persistent in helping her, and she's doing really well. So I just wanted to say that again. But I also want to recognize couple other people, if that's okay. I like to do that. Miss Marquis, first grade teacher. She has been at it a long time, and that is evident by her wisdom and gifting, but not by her energy. You wouldn't know she'd been at it so long. She has so much energy. And she's fun and engaging, and she's just doing a really good job. in first grade. Mrs. Susie teaches third grade.
Got 'em all right there.
I wrote it down. I keep note. You know, it's good to hear when you're doing a good job, you know. And Mrs. Susie, she creates a safe classroom. I like to say that every child's name is safe in her mouth. She never says a child's name like a curse word. She's wonderful and supportive, and she promotes creativity, curiosity, freedom in her classroom. So that's for her. And I'd also want to mention Mrs. Shepherd. She's a para at our school, and just the way that she acknowledges children as human beings. You know, she talks to them like they're human beings, and she's just warm and loving. And I don't have as much interaction over at Newt Jan, and I wish that I did, but I did have a good interaction with Mr. Carlton over the summer. I called him to talk about potentially helping using the greenhouse with our students at MES when they do planting units, and he was very responsive and very receptive to the idea of that, and I just really appreciate that as well. So that's it.
It's my turn to point out the negative.
Well, you can, yeah, but I'll let you do it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, all I wanted to point out was there was an issue in Jan Radowitz and Jen Levitt addressed it immediately, but there was an issue of students hanging around at Newt after school, and I was there in the parking lot, and there were two older women coming out of the public library, where we had a bunch of students running around using vulgar language that I will not say right now. And I did ask them politely to not use that, and one of the girls did apologize, and one of the other ones decided to continue being a little mouthy. They were throwing a bottle up in the air, almost hit these people. So I had sent an email over to Ms. Levitt and Ms. Radowitz, and Ms. Levitt did come out and have them disperse. It's just not what we want to portray our students as hoodlums, and a few other parents have approached me that they're concerned about having their students staying after school to go to the library because of what's going on outside in the language that's out there. But I believe that they're trying to get it under control, and I thank you for that.
Okay. Okay. Paul, did you have anything? Okay, I don't have anything either. All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay, moving on to page, I got school board business. Kathy is being overwhelmed, and it was especially during when we had all those policies that we had to do, and she really didn't have the time, or she was really maxed out and kind of getting frazzled. I don't blame her, I would too. Doing that and getting the packets ready, and sometimes the stuff coming from administration. And I do it too, so I'm not talking to anybody administrative. I'm guilty of it, because I have things I want to get to you, and tonight's a perfect example. It's not in your packet, and I got to give it up. But she was frazzled, and she was hoping that people would be more cognizant, try to get him in earlier, if at all possible. If not, maybe we have to change it to Wednesday night. But I can understand why we sometimes, an emergency will come along or something needs to be done right off, and we have to get it in. Okay, and that I understand, but I wanted to make you all aware of that. I wanted to talk about it. 'Cause I think it's Thursday at 12 noon, everything has to be in order for her to do it. But now that we've gotten the policies caught up, look at the thing tonight, we ought to help her home early tonight. We should be. Okay. So if we have any more problems, I think maybe we'll bring it up later and maybe change it to an earlier date. I don't know. Okay, B is page 9. Tim Eldridge is looking for bus drivers. You have to be 21 years of age, CDL class B with a P and a S endorsements. I don't know what that means. With an air brake certification, excellent driving records, pass background check, and random drug test, paid for by the school, complete with training and orientation. This will be a 10-month split shift position that offers competitive pay. And he needs both full-time and part-time. I just wanted to pass that on to everybody. Okay, you don't have to talk about C because we already did it. Your life code policies, and what I gave you, that second packet with the, I said, that I gave you earlier, that's what's in there. So you don't have to deal with that. That was the one stating that we lose the fire alarm, we don't occupy the building, and that was from the Assistant Fire Chief, Devon. Okay. All right, moving on. Let's see if I lost myself here.
First reading.
Yes, we have two first readings. They got lost in the process. Okay. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I probably got lost mine already.
I have something for KEE.
Oh, you doing?
Yeah. Is it the big blank? Is it the big blank?
Yeah, the big white line needs to get filled in. That's it.
I lost mine already.
Fill in the line and take out the bracket.
That would be what, page 14?
15.
Page 15.
15.
Well, I was on,
Second paragraph under B.
wait a minute, I gotta get past 14
He has to get
first.
through GATA.
I think it's gonna be the,
Yeah, he's got to get through GATA.
first one I need to read is GADA, Employment Reference and Verification. And does anybody have any problems with that one? Move it on to second reading. I
Yep.
need a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Emily. Then I'll go on to that, I'm sorry. Go on to that next one. Anybody? Peg?
Aye.
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 Okay, now you have something, Jen, for me?
I think she has.
We
it.
both-
Okay, go
On
ahead.
page
fire away.
15, it says the board designates the blank identified HR head as the website accessibility compliance coordinator. So we need to take out that blank and fill in the word superintendent. Is that what are we? Who should that be?
Who
Who's gonna handle complaints?
handles complaints?
Superintendent.
Lucky winner.
All right.
I get the inheritance,
Lucky
You're
winner.
getting more work, girl.
the inheritance, the gold watch.
So that's it?
That's all I
And then
saw.
it's delete then everything in the bracket. On the line and then
Delete
delete the identifying person who shall be responsible.
Okay, I see what you, okay, wait a minute. Now, who will hand these to Kathy then? Somebody want-
Again, I will nominate Earl.
To hand them to Kathy?
Sure.
I'll hand them to Kathy.
Okay, did I have a motion? on-
Motion.
Second
Paul,
and third.
Peg, okay, all right. Paul?
Aye.
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 So that'd
So
be
it's
going,
to accept with changes?
yeah,
And
to
then
the
go to
second,
second.
Go
second
to
reading,
second
yeah.
reading. Yep.
All right. Takes care of that. I got a couple of more things that you're not on your list. See, I'm guilty too. Okay, Peg and I are gonna go meet with the selectmen on Monday, the 28th. And that meeting time is 5:30.
Right.
And it's gonna be to discuss this,
The funding, the
the
money.
funding. And I'll post it so the whole board can be there as a meeting. So I just wanted you to be aware, October 28th at 5:30 here at the Selectmen's office. All right, okay, now I have something else for you. Okay, I want to give you, this is just a FYI, this is this year's deadlines, because we're an SB2 town. So when we go into negotiations and stuff, there's deadlines that we have to get stuff in, so I'll pass them that way. That's all it is, just FYI, you can read it tonight. Anybody in the audience would like some I have extra?
Anybody want one?
No, I'm more than happy to pass them out.
Can you pass one more to Earl?
Yeah, I can, here you go.
It's when
time was
negotiations
this?
have to be done and the warrant article has to be
Is that what you
done.
were just talking about?
No, that's something else.
What was the one, an extra one?
No, that's teacher negotiations.
Who's this?
Earl, okay, we all set with that?
No, we already got that. We already got that. He has one.
Oh, I thought you wanted another one in the audience. Okay, that's done. That was the SB2 handout. Now, this is the one I really like. I can find it, what I do with it. I want you to, I'll pass this all to you and then you can read it. I'll read it out loud. We talked about
Remake
it,
from the rooftops.
yeah. Should already have it up there. Tell me when you get it. Okay. So you, let the administrators hear this, and people. For an FYI, from 2009 to 2019, the school has given back to the town, the surplus, $2,794,228 to bring down the tax rate. I think Bob, you might have got one, but I got extra. So we do get money back, and if the reason we can't spend this is because the legislative body, the people have not given us the authority, but I would have loved to have
Make sure we
that.
bring this to the budget negotiation.
Oh, they got it already. Oh, budget, no,
Yeah, when we do our budget stuff, yeah.
oh, the budget committee already has it.
Okay, good.
Some of them didn't
I'll
want
give
it.
him another one.
Those sheets that we gave.
I'm gonna give him another one, yeah.
Was the last page.
Good, okay.
Okay, I think
That's it?
we've gone through everything. Do we have any old business?
No.
Moving on. Committee and board member? Do we have anything?
Just the policy committee
Go ahead, go ahead.
we are all caught up. We have one more that we tabled tonight that we need to consult with a lawyer about, and then we're just waiting for our fall packet.
And then you'll start all over again.
Yeah.
An A+ for that committee.
But poor Kathy probably won't be getting it.
Yeah.
She did get bombarded, but now we're all caught up.
should be
so-
fine.
I think we should wait a year and then give it to her at once again.
No thanks.
Well, I have to say, I got my packet and it was like this thick again. And I'm going, oh my God. And I opened it up and pulled it out. It's like, all right, new policies. I am so tired of going through that book and saying, okay, oh no, wait a minute, that's not the same one, okay,
Yeah.
gone. Oh.
And how do you think we had to read every one?
Well, that's your job.
Make our jobs
Fine, I'll
easier.
take it. Keep doing the budget. I'll take it.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Anybody else on the committee? You have anything, Paul?
Budget committee,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
just very quickly, they want to know when our budget is going to be ready.
When it's ready.
That's it. They just
Okay.
want to know.
Oh, and then, today was the last day for our auditors, and I think it went extremely well.
Yes, that's what Nate said.
Extremely well.
Kudos to Nate.
So I think
Yeah.
everybody's doing a good job and
Yep.
getting them POs in and getting them recorded. And nobody's walking off with any money. And be careful when I say that. So we're okay.
No,
I guess we're down to public comments.
I was wondering if I could have a few minutes in non-public. I see you have future employment, your board packet deadline. I have prepared some information to give you kind of a scenario. So but it has to do with staffing and individuals, so I really can't talk about it in public. It'll only just be a few minutes. I just have information to give you.
I have no problem with it. But what about the rest of the board?
Oh,
One-
okay.
One no will kick you out.
You could have brought some desserts to bribe us.
You have time.
Okay, let me give you this.
Public?
No, we're not ready yet. I just want to get these passed. This is for employment from Jan. Did you have a handout for us? John, are you going to give it to us when we're in?
I'll give you non-public.
Okay, all right.
Well, this is on public.
So
This will
these
be
just
non-public.
go into our.
Just put it in the back of your packet.
Okay.
All right.
You and your,
See, all right, so public comments, Larry?
Thank you. Larry Brown. Just a question. You said the audit will be finished today.
Yeah,
I was trying to connect the dots that said the reason that the board is in process for doing the budget is because you are waiting for the audit to be complete, or those are two different?
audit report, it's two separate things, Larry.
Okay.
We'll hand out that thick book, with the binder that we get every year. I must have, I don't know how many.
Mm.
I do know Nathan hasn't been able to work on the binder because he's been working on the audit, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Now, Larry, you probably remember that I mentioned last night that with the new system. Yeah, okay. So, he's having problems with the new system. You guys know my snark from the last meeting of, what's the matter with this poor elementary teacher and her teeth. So he's been cleaning that up too. The auditors were here. I'm in hopes that, I'm gonna call them department heads, but the principals and different directors have been kind of putting their budgets together so that at least somebody is working on.
I think Nathan's met with all of us. so
Okay,
he's
I
juggling a
thought
lot
that's
of
what he had
balls
said,
right
but, so, there are two things going on, Larry.
And if you would permit the pun, it is not elementary, dear Watson, it's elementary damn dental.
42 lines for this poor elementary teacher, dental. My last question to Nate, pointing it out, was, does this person have really rotten teeth or what? Just, take care of them. Anyway, it was a glitch in the system.
All right, all set. Lynette, do you have anything?
No.
Because I'm going to make a motion that we,
I can make one suggestion.
I'm sorry?
I would like to make one suggestion.
Go ahead.
Since you guys are talking to the public and everything, whenever you use an acronym, give it a meaning at the first time you use it, so we know what you're talking about, because some of the acronyms you use, I'm unfamiliar with them.
Do you remember any of them?
NWA.
SIP was one.
Everything you said.
That's a good point, yeah.
Well, no, just for clarity, that's all.
Okay.
It had to do with.
All set?
RTI, I said RTI and NWA, those are.
And I asked about IC.
I
I
see.
did, I think I did say it
Yes,
for
you
the
did say
campus,
it.
And
so.
also your applications, if you can define what that application does, if it's an administrative application,
Power
if it's
school?
a student, if it's student application, something like that.
It's our student information system.
Okay, meaning what?
It's the brain of the system, has every kid, all the kids' information in it, demographics, grading, enrollment.
Beautiful.
so forth.
I understood, but I wanted people to
Yep.
understand. Thank you.
Everything else, everybody okay?
That's all I have to say.
Okay, I need a motion to go into non-public.
Make a motion, go to non-public.
I'll second it.
That'll be under RSA 91A, 32, A, B, C, I, J, and K. And that would be what, 708?
I know.
Yep.
Uh,
Okay.
708.
I thank everybody for coming.
I know that.
I'll let John go first.
I'll get the door.
I want to meet.